Pat, you're ready or not? No, we always have to wait for Pat. How we doing, Mr. Wary?
Looks like it's up. There it is.
Good? Okay. It is. All right. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2024 to the News Record and the Star Ledger in December of 2023, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Scrape,
Here.
Daffis,
Present.
DeLuca, Single,
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting. And whereas desire of the governing body to comply with the provision of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in deliberation of the governing body by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body at all of its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Ms. Cripe?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Single?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. I'd ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if you don't mind, remain standing for, I just have a statement I want to read and ask for a moment of silence afterwards. On this upcoming anniversary of October 7th, terrorist attacks on Israel, we pause to remember the lives tragically lost and the hostages still being held by Hamas, and honor the strength of those impacted. The coming day marks a painful chapter in history, reminding us of the profound effects of violence and terror on individuals, families, and entire communities, including our own here in Maplewood and South Orange. We offer our deepest condolences to families both in the Middle East and here at home who continue to bear the weight of this grief. This anniversary is not only a time for mourning, but also a moment to call for the release of the hostages and reaffirm our commitment to building a safer, more compassionate world, one where terror and violence have no place, where people, all people, can live with dignity and peace. Let us also be reminded of our shared responsibility to foster understanding and cooperation so that we can work toward a future where these tragedies never happen again. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. So welcome to the Tuesday, October 1st, 2024 meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee. We have 4 proclamations tonight. One is a celebratory birthday centennial proclamation, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, LGBTQ+ History Month, Anti-Bullying Month, and World Day of Bullying Prevention. After those proclamations are read, we have an appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. Then we will move into our Board of Health meeting. After, I just want to step back. After the centennial birthday proclamation, we will have a 5-minute break to do a little celebrating before we get to the business of the meeting, and then also the celebrants can go celebrate in a more comfortable setting where they can actually talk and have fun. So we also have one ordinance on for final passage tonight on zoning and development regulations with regard to the demolition ordinance. We have an introduction of an ordinance with respect to fees for food establishments, in particular food trucks. Then we have an ordinance amending the chapter 257 for vehicles and traffic regarding no parking spaces on South Orange Avenue by the top. Then we have reports from departments. We've received the September budget memo report. Then we have administrative reports from Mr. Weary. And then we have Jessica Almeida in for our Jennifer Credidio for the attorney's report. Then we'll hear from our township clerk, Liz Fritzen. We'll then move to reports from elected officials. We'll start with committee member DeLuca, committee member Engel will follow, then committee member Daffis, deputy mayor Kripe, and then I go last. There are no discussions item on tonight, so that's good for the Mets game watching and the debate. So yeah. Then we have the consent agenda, and then we'll move into our final public comment. I think I skipped the first public comment. The first public comment is agenda items only. The second one at the end of the meeting is for any subject matter. So with that, I would like to move on to the fun part of the meeting tonight. We have a 100th birthday celebration, not just of Jimmy Carter, our former president, whose birthday is today. And all of us are urging him to vote by mail. We're just kidding. But the more fun one is our local centennial birthday celebration for Marion Winokur. Sorry, got it. At least I corrected myself. So back in 1924, which was a year before my dad was born, we had a world population of 1.9 billion. And the US population was 114 million. But the more fun stuff is celebrity births, obviously the same year as Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, Lauren Bacall, Truman Capote, and of course, Don Knotts from Andy Griffith, Andrew Draper. That's the most important. The World Series champs were Washington Senators. The Stanley Cup champs were the Montreal Canadiens. The NFL champs were Cleveland Bulldogs. And slang, we had slang words like bearcat apparently was a lively woman, which is interesting.
Bearcat.
A slang for liquor was giggle water, which is
Okay.
kind of fun.
Doesn't make me giggle.
In the news, the Little Orphan Annie comic strip by Harold Gray was published for the first time in the New York Daily News. But what the fun one is, what things cost. So a new house in 1924 averaged $7,720.
Wow.
A new car was $265. A stamp was 2 cents for a US postal stamp. Gallon of gas, any guesses?
2 cents.
11 cents a gallon. A dozen eggs, 44 cents a dozen. And a gallon of milk was 54 cents. It doesn't say the average income, so I'm assuming it's kind of, matches up a little bit. So, but I would ask our celebrant, if you will, our birthday girl, to come join me over at the podium. Did you drive here tonight? Nancy drove. She drives over here and comes to see me,
I do a lot of things, except I don't hear so well,
Okay.
I must admit.
Well, we're pleased to present this to you. So I'm going to read through a little bit of this, if you don't mind. Whereas on October 2nd, 2024, we celebrate the remarkable 100th birthday of Marianne Jean Winokur, a cherished resident of Maplewood and beloved member of our community. And whereas born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1924, Marian has led a life enriched by education, earning both a bachelor's and master's degree from Washington University, exemplifying her commitment to lifelong learning. And whereas in 1949, Marian married Gerald Winokur, embarking on a journey that would lead them to Essex County, where they settled in Maplewood in 1953, making their house a home and nurturing a loving family. And whereas Marian raised two daughters, Nancy and Susan, those are the names. Back in those days, there were always Nancy's and Susans in classrooms, who attended local schools, and she is now a proud grandmother and great-grandmother whose family continues to grow and thrive. And whereas Marian's involvement in the Maplewood Garden Club and her passion for cooking and bridge have allowed her to engage with neighbors and friends, fostering community spirit and lifelong friendships. And whereas a passion for genealogy, Marian has traced her family history for over 200 years, showcasing her dedication to preserving the past while sharing her rich family stories with all who will listen. And whereas throughout her 70 years in Maplewood, Marian has witnessed and embraced the changes in her beloved community, providing insights and reflections that enrich our shared history. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Nancy Adams, Mayor of the Township of Maplewood, on behalf of the Maplewood Township Committee, do hereby recognize Marian Jean Winokur not only for reaching this extraordinary milestone, but for her contributions to our community and her dedication to family and her vibrant spirit that continues to inspire those around her. In celebrating Marian's 100 years, we honor her legacy and the joy she brings to our lives, wishing her a day filled with love and cherished memory.
I was going to tell you a lot of things. She said them all. They were just a few, maybe anecdotes about Maplewood, the way it used to be when I first came here. For one thing, in those days, we didn't have to keep our doors locked. And there were two grocery stores in the village and one meat market. One grocery store offered delivery service. So my door was always open. The delivery man would just open the door, put the groceries on the counter, put the meat in the refrigerator, go out, close the door. That was the end of that every day or every other day. So some things have changed, but I still love it just the way it is. It's done so much for me. The garden club and the adult school, learning to cook because I didn't really know much about cooking. Learned to cook from Mrs. Karuba at the adult school. Her cooking with wine and high spirits. And I still use her cookbook. That's the name of it too. Oh, so there, one thing and another. I learned to improve my bridge at the adult school, help the garden club, help my gardening. And one other special thing that I like to talk about is in the wintertime, the fire department would flood part of the park and it would freeze and we could skate. And there was even a skate house where people could put on their skates and take them off afterwards. It was just wonderful. I loved every minute of being here. And thank you for honoring me. I'm honored. I'm really honored. Thank you. Well,
I can take it for you over to your daughter if you want.
thank
Okay.
you.
We're going to take a few-minute break because we have a little bit of refreshments and some noisemakers. that our clerk got. So we'll stay on, but we're going to be like walking around and moseying.
Cupcakes for everybody here.
We have enough cupcakes, or we can, yeah.
You need silverware? No, I don't think so.
Being carried over to next one.
Pumpkin.
Yeah, we haven't had this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Hey.
Patrick, that's nice. Yes, hang on to those for later.
Why, we're gonna give this to her? 100? Yeah. And there's something here too, right? 3 different kinds.
It's a carrot or red velvet.
One's carrot. One more.
I think that's red velvet.
Dean's got it. There's other varieties up here if you want. I'm saying. Hey, listen, I'm pretty close to her age.
Hey, listen, I'll be here for your part.
I'll still be up there. I'll still be voting.
Hey, guess what? I'll still be here.
You'll still be here too.
What do you say? We stay?
I'll be retired. And
I don't know. I don't know if I'll make 100.
next cupcake. We're law director. We're also redevelopment council and I sometimes prosecute. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
What is that?
deals with mainly. Used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna work my way up.
Or if and they're also not doing so well. I mainly do the lane. So. Oh, that's my child. Birthday.
Boy, is awesome.
Lamar. I know, I've reviewed your email. That's how I knew well, Jen and I was like, oh. Yes, we approved the settlement agreement with the developer, but not with, I'm good, thank you. Would I like one or should I not have? mean, I want one. It's not gonna happen. I work at a bakery. Not hard to make. Yeah, but I'm getting very good at. What's that? What's that?
I think you're about to roll into. There you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Now we're kicking my work.
Just get it started.
Yeah. Mr. Ware, are you ready?
How much I-
You are. And we're still on?
Sitting there, working.
Actually, I didn't ask if anyone wanted to say anything. I think she had family members on Zoom, but
No.
that's okay.
Not sure I can get back.
Walking.
Thank you.
Driving and
She's still
amazing.
driving during the daytime. It's wild.
Yeah, I don't think you want to.
Yeah, those
Not a good look.
5-second rule doesn't apply to public spaces.
Not a good look.
Thanks for that. Okay, thank you, everybody, for your indulgence on that special occasion. I think it was well worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it's hard to hear you.
It's, why is that suddenly hard to hear me?
Now, yeah,
Can
just
you
a
hear me
little bit.
now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You want me to hammer?
Get on there.
All right, we'll move to the next proclamation. We'll go to Committee Member Engel for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas breast cancer will affect 1 in 8 women in the United States, and whereas this year an estimated 42,250 women will die from breast cancer in the U.S., and whereas a man's lifetime risk of breast cancer is about 1 in 833, and whereas breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women, and it's the second leading cancer death among women in the U.S., and whereas in 2024, an estimated 310,720 new cases of invasive breast cancer are expected to be diagnosed among women, including more than 2,800 cases in men in the United States. And whereas breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related death for Latin women, and death rates are 40% higher among Black women than white women. And whereas for Asian American and Pacific Islander women, breast cancer diagnosis rates continue to be underreported, but as of 2022, breast cancer accounted for 35% of all new cancers and has increased by over 10% in the past decade. And whereas in Essex County, 17.2% of women have received a mammogram in the past 2 years, which is lower than the state rate. And whereas 30% of all new cancer diagnosis in women will be breast cancer, making it a significant health concern. And whereas improvements in early detection and effective treatment have contributed to a 43% decline in breast cancer deaths in the United States between 1989 and 2020. And whereas through early detection screenings, 66% of breast cancer cases are diagnosed at an early stage when it is easier to treat. And whereas over 4 million women are living with or beyond breast cancer in the United States. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Deborah Engel, on behalf of Mayor Nancy Adams and the entire Township Committee of Maplewood in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the month of October in the year 2024 be known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Accordingly, I encourage all residents to talk to their healthcare provider and schedule a breast cancer screening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who we want? LGBTQ plus proclamation,
we-
Mr. Mathis.
Thank you, Mayor. We keep adding letters to
Yeah.
this long acronym. So ever since October 1994, when it was first proclaimed in October to recognize the contributions of the LGBTQ plus community, it was started by Rodney Wilson, an educator in Missouri. We have been doing so, and we have been doing so here in Maplewood as well. And we're very proud of the inclusive community that we are in our great community, especially for our LGBTQIA plus families, friends, and neighbors. In 2019, New Jersey became the second state in the nation to recognize the importance of educating its youth through the implementation of an LGBTQIA plus curriculum in grades 5 through 12, only the second state in the nation. In January of 2022, Governor Murphy and the New Jersey State Legislature passed legislation to codify same-sex marriage in New Jersey. The Township of Maplewood believes that diversity adds to the wealth of opinions, expressions, and culture in our town. And the Township Committee, this governing body, has been and remains deeply committed to creating a community where everyone belongs. Where you belong, you matter. We see you. The Township Committee of Maplewood is here to proclaim again this October as LGBTQIA plus History Month. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of Mayor Nancy Adams and my fellow colleagues of the Township Committee in the of the Township of Maplewood in the County of Essex, that October in 2024 be known as LGBTQ plus History Month in the Township of Maplewood. And we encourage all of our citizens to participate in LGBTQIA plus History Month activities. And before we move on to the next proclamation, I thought it'd be interesting to highlight some local, meaning New Jersey-based historical figures from the LGBTQIA plus community. They include the following: Walt Whitman. That's right, you heard that correct. That Walt Whitman. Babs Sipperstein. Babs Sipperstein was New Jersey's premier trans advocate. David Mixner, who started the Marriage Equality Front and fight for equality. And I worked with David very closely. Marsha P. Johnson, who was there on that fateful night in New York City at Stonewall that changed history for the LGBTQ civil rights fight forever. Sakia Gunn from Newark, New Jersey. Our great statewide advocacy leader, Christian Fuscarino, who's the executive director of Garden State Equality. And although the two of us are not as famous or, historical figures not native to New Jersey, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Shannon Cuttle, our great trans advocate here in New Jersey, and myself, for both of us making history in this space. And thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to proclaim October as LGBTQIA plus History Month.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Kripe, would you do an anti-bullying month?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Anti-Bullying Month and World Day of Bullying Prevention. October 7th is World Day of Bullying Prevention, and October is Anti-Bullying Month. 20% of students aged 12 to 18 experience bullying nationwide, and 31% of adults have experienced bullying in the workplace. Spreading lies and rumors is the most pervasive type of bullying, with it affecting 21% of adults in the workplace and 13% of students aged 12 to 18. The effects of bullying range from students losing interest in academic achievement, lower grades, to increasing dropout rates, and general effects include an increase in anxiety and depression, causes loss of sleep, and decreases overall mental and emotional health. One of the top contributors to bullying remaining so pervasive is due to many being bystanders. It's recommended for both students and those in the workplace to assess the situation, document all incidents, and report what was done to a teacher, counselor, supervisor, or human resources, and never stop advocating for yourself until the bullying situation is adequately handled. You have the right to live a peaceful life, free of any form of harassment, and if you or someone you know feels hopeless, helpless, and is thinking of harming themselves, remember they can call the 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or if it's an emergency, police and medical services at 911. Now, therefore, be it resolved on behalf of Nancy Adams, the mayor of the Township of Maplewood, and on behalf of the Maplewood Township Committee, we proclaim that October is Anti-Bullying Month and that October 7th is the World Day of Bullying Prevention. I implore everyone who sees something wrong to speak out. Talk to the person potentially being bullied. Show them kindness and support them in whichever way you can, as we must come to a point where enough is enough. Bullying and harassment are not rites of passage. and nor should they be seen as the norm. Just because something has become common in our society doesn't make it right. And only through silence can bullying continue from generation to generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, with that, we have a board and committees. We have a Historic Preservation Commission appointee, Mr. DeLuca.
Thank you, Mayor. We have appointment tonight of our, an alternate. This will be the first alternate. And Dermot McCree. Why don't you come on up? Career, sorry.
Career, yeah.
Clear.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry to say I'm not 100 years old, so
Goals,
Don't
life
be
goals.
sorry, don't be
I, I-
sorry.
I wish I'm in that good shape when I do turn.
Yeah, right.
Right?
All of us.
She still drives. I
Amazing.
mean,
So good evening. My name is Demal McCreer. I've been a resident in Maplewood for over 24 years. My daughters all graduated through schools, 3 girls. The last one just recently graduated from Columbia, so we're a little bit of empty nesters right now. So my wife's been very active in the PTA for many years. I participated, but I thought this would be a great niche for me. I saw the advertisement asking for volunteers to serve on the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm an architect. I've been practicing as a project architect for over 20 years. I'm the one that's presenting to a commission, Department of Buildings and so forth. So I understand what they're looking for. So I wanted to lend my experience, my expertise to be on the other side to help direct what the historic preservation in Maplewood is doing.
appreciate it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Would you like to move?
Yes, I would move the appointment of Mr. McCreer to the Historic Preservation Commission.
I'll second.
Ms. Wright?
Yes, congratulations.
Davis?
Yes, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for stepping up and
Mhm.
enjoy your
Appreciate
time.
it.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, and with that, we'll go into our Board of Health meeting. Committee Member Engel, your turn.
Thank you, Mayor. Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2024 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December 2023, and by filing said notice to in the office of the Township Clerk.
Ms. Wright?
Here.
Davis?
Present.
DeLuca?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Here.
Ms. Engel?
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the Board of Health has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting. And whereas desire the Maplewood Board of Health to comply with the provision of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner. Now therefore be it resolved by the Maplewood Board of Health, Township of Maplewood, does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in deliberations of the Board of Health by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the Board of Health at all of its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Right,
Yes.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
DeLuca,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes.
Ms. Engel.
Yes.
Thank you.
I move to approve the Board of Health meeting minutes from September 3rd, 2024.
Second.
Right,
Yes.
Mr. Daffis.
Yes.
DeLuca.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes.
Ms. Engel.
Yes. Now I turn things over to our Health Officer, Candace Davenport.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Happy October. We're going to start off with our nursing updates. We have a lot to inform you of and lots of things that we've done. So for our month of September, our nurses investigated 11 reportable communicable and infectious diseases. As for our September 9th health screening that was done at the farmer's market, 17 people were screened with 12 diabetes risks assessments, 14 stroke assessments, and 4 A1C diabetes screenings. We also had Essex County DFAB there, this Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, and they were able to assist 28 people, and 2 residents requested home visits. We encourage everyone to come to our next ones, which are October 7th, that's next week, and our final one at the last farmer's market on November 4th. They'll be there from 2 to 6 p.m. Next slide. We also wanted to say that when we did the Maplewood drug disposal, we were able to collect 17 pounds of unused or expired medication. So again, at the farmer's market, when we have these mobile drug disposals, you can get rid of your expired and unused medication safely. Next slide. We were also able to provide a rabies vaccine clinic. So for anyone who needed a free rabies vaccine for their cat and dog, we vaccinated 26 animals. This is triple the amount that we've had at our spring clinic. And 80% of the people who attended were from the MAPSO area. We just want to say a big thank you to Valley Vet and Dr. Morcos for volunteering his time to vaccinate our loved ones. Next slide. We will have a flu vaccination clinic bringing the flu vaccination to you Tuesday, October 15th at the Hart Community Center. This will be held from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m., convenient for anyone who's coming home from work or after school. These will be free flu vaccines regardless of insurance status, thanks to Essex County, and they'll be providing the high-dose senior flu vaccine. That will be available upon request, and this is available for open to all ages. Next slide. Along that note, Essex County is also offering other mobile health clinics. I do want to highlight the one on the upper left, which actually happened today, but they're actually having another one October 9th and November 8th. They'll be coming to Maplewood, and that's for the Vaccine for Children program. So if anyone is missing vaccines for their child to start school, we will actually have one November 8th at the high school. So this is another partnership that we're doing with the high school, with the school district and the county. They also offer screenings like they do at the farmer's market, and those schedules are here as well. Next slide. The federal government is starting once again the free COVID-19 test kits. So you can now go on the website covidtest.gov and order your free test kits. You get 4 per family, and this is all free. So for the upcoming respiratory flu, COVID, RSV season, we encourage everyone to get their free at-home COVID test kits that can be mailed to you. If you need any help with getting them, there's a phone number as well if you have trouble ordering them online. As for women's health updates, this is something new. I just wanted to make a plug for a collaboration that we're doing with Not Your Mother's Menopause NJ and our Township of South Orange as well. They're doing a documentary screening called The M Factor, Shredding the Silence on Menopause. This will be shown on Tuesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. at the SOPAC. It's a film that you can watch, but also there's another addendum to that, which is a brunch in January that will be held at the Maplewood Country Club. And we want to encourage people to attend that as well, because there will be a lot of great speakers to talk about this very important topic. But if you want to learn more about it starting in October, please come. It's free to the Tuesday, October 22nd showing at 7 p.m. Also on women's health, we do want to focus on the free postpartum visits called the Universal Home Visiting that's done by our partners at Partnership for Maternal Child Health. Again, women and families can request a nurse to visit them in the first 2 weeks that you come home to do some education and help you get started right with having a new baby. Moving on to our environmental health, we had 3 restaurant inspections. As you can see, we've started the school inspections since we are now going back into school. And looking at our tattoo parlors and other things that we license as we move off of restaurant inspections. Next slide. This is the report for August from our Animal Control Solutions contract. We had 21 calls to them, 6 bites, 4 enforcements, 1 cruelty and neglect case, 3 strays, and 7 calls for wildlife. Moving on to our social services and mental health. Want to emphasize that tomorrow you can join us for National Coffee with a Cop. This is another collaboration that we're doing with the Maplewood Police Department, where you can have coffee with the Health Department and our Maplewood police officers in the community services division. It's going to be at 160 Maplewood Avenue at the Starbucks from 10 to 11 tomorrow, which is Wednesday, October 2nd. Next slide. One of the things that Dina Purcell, who is our part-time crisis social worker, was able to do was to connect with Essex County and their Reach for Recovery mobile van. So this is a free service that they're trying to do at the county in terms of harm reduction, and we're bringing it here to Maplewood. We are also bringing it again Wednesday, October 23rd from 10 to 3 p.m. where people can access services on substance use assessment, health and wellness screenings, care coordination, Narcan distribution, and community resource sharing. It's really for anyone who is suffering from a substance use disorder or has a family or loved one who might be suffering and you are supporting them. Again, this service is free. And so we want to say that just last week, we had 13 people come. So that was really great. And we hope that more people will take advantage of this service. Moving on to our crisis intervention social workers report in September, our social workers saw 18 people. They provided 11 co-responses and 11 clinical cases. Next slide. As for CSP&J, this is their September case report. I do want to note that Pam Baker, who's the director for the Homeless Outreach and Engagement Program at CSP&J, will be here next month to do a more formal presentation now that we are already 6 months into the program, which is amazing. So just to break down some of these numbers, for September, they saw 21 unique cases by the street outreach team. There's the male to female ratio, and the homeless outreach engagement saw 12 people. And then the resource assistance was provided to 9 individuals. Diversion and prevention services, they saw 7 people and 2 cases were closed. So just to give you some idea of what are resource assistance, the resources they provide are ID assistance, housing applications, driver's licenses, respite referrals to enter a program and get on their waiting list, birth certificate assistance, social security card replacement assistance, health insurance replacement cards, and senior tax-free application assistance. So these are all things that residents need in order to get the social services that they're looking for. And sometimes they just need a little help applying for the application online, and they're able to do that. Also, just an update, as of May, we were able to note that they have had 66 total engagements since May. So they're really getting out there. We've also put out the CSP&J Warm Line. We have a press release that's linked to our township website. And this is the Warm Line that people can call if they have any questions or see someone who may be in need of assistance and may be unhoused. As for the diversion and prevention services, the 2 cases that were closed had to deal with, hold on, back rent was provided to households to prevent eviction, and legal assistance was provided to prevent a lockout. So those were resolved. And then outstanding diversion services that are still in process are things like securing assistance for a family for senior housing, helping with securing unemployment and possible back rent and legal assistance for a rental, and a back rent for someone with disability, as well as accessing GED classes for free at Better Life. So all of these things are diversion and prevention to help our residents prevent homelessness, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Next slide. Again, we want to highlight that people can come and people are taking advantage on Saturdays from 12 to 2 to come to the library. And I want to thank the librarians for having CSP&J there to utilize the computers so that they can help people fill out those applications and learn more about things like Anchor and legal aid assistance and health insurance. So some people don't even know the services that are available to them. So We're happy to do that. School has started. So if you pass by our elementary schools in both Maplewood and South Orange, as well as our 2 middle schools, you will see a lawn sign that says parents who spend 15 minutes per day with their child can improve their health and well-being. As you can see, as I mentioned before, you can see each of the schools has their own little logo attached to it. We just thought, when we talk about mental health, we want to also talk about how to support your child in a very positive way. And just spending 15 minutes a day makes all the difference in the world. Lastly, because this presentation is shared online, we always want to make sure that people know, as mentioned by Deputy Mayor Kripe, the 988 number, as well as the 911 phone number and poison control and 211 for social services. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Davenport. Before I open it up to my colleagues for questions, I know last month we had a little bit of a conversation about the warm line and we brought it back to committee and then we put out the press release. So can you just tell the public like when to call the warm line, when to call the PD? Just break that down a little
Oh,
bit.
sure. Okay, so the warm line is available. You can call, and if the CSP and J staff are on shift, they will respond to you. However, if they're not available, they'll respond the next business day when they are here. Ideally, we'd like people to leave information. So for example, if you see someone unhoused, in the park or, somewhere, you might want to say their location, what time you might have seen them. That would let us know that, okay, maybe they'll be there again and we'll visit around that same time. Any kind of, clothing that could distinguish them, or like they were carrying a bag, a black bag, that would help so that we can look for them and identify them quickly. And then they go and reach out to them and they talk to them and see what social services they might need. Again, that phone number is not 24/7 like the make the right call numbers, like those 3-digit numbers, but they are available for homeless outreach and engagement.
Thank you so much. Do I have any questions for my colleagues for the health officer this evening? Mr. DeLuca?
Yeah, I have two. With the animal control, we have a situation on Franklin Avenue where a dog runs pretty open. It's somebody's house, but they don't really control the dog, and the dog attacks other dogs, attacks people and stuff. So what is the procedure for something like that?
Okay, so if you have a dog that is running loose all the time, or
Well, I don't know, it just gets out. Let's say. it
Yeah,
gets
breaks out.
Yeah.
all right, if we can identify the owner of the dog, ACS or our department will go and ask
Okay.
them, about their ability to cordon off the dog and
Okay.
keep the dog safe. If, however, and then we follow up with them if they have a license, if they don't have a license, if they don't have a rabies vaccine. The dog can't be running around at large, so that's another violation to the township. If, however, it is unowned or is a stray, ACS and the PD would assist to cordon it off and then take it.
Yeah, no, it's not a stray.
It's not a stray.
And as you might imagine, it's not the only issue with this residence,
Residence,
with this house. So, okay.
What
Right.
number do they call?
So they can call our office and they can let us know about some of the information. If this happens, though, outside of weekday hours, like running around at 9 o'clock at night, the PD is definitely
Right.
the people to call.
Okay.
So yeah, anytime in weekends or after hours, call the PD, and then they will call ACS to identify or seize the dog if needed.
And then I think I had a question on your inspections. Can you go back to that? If I can remember, I think it was on the inspections.
The Mets win.
Yes, they did. 8-4 in case anyone wants to know the Mets won.
Go Mets.
No,
The
no, the inspections,
Environmental section.
yeah, I think the environmental.
Oh,
There it is.
Okay, chicken coops.
Chicken coops.
Yes. Do we actually have, are those 7 individual coops or houses, or is that,
7 individual homes.
it is?
Mhm.
and what's our max, 10?
11,
Max,
right?
11?
I believe it was 15. 15 in total, and you could have a maximum of 5 per home. But these houses usually don't have more than,
Right, so these are 7 different homes.
Pretty cool. Fresh eggs.
The eggs are smaller.
Thankfully, no roosters.
What's that?
Thankfully, no roosters.
And no roosters. Definitely.
No roosters.
Any other questions from my colleagues for our health officer? Then we invite the public to address our health officer and ask any questions. Is there anybody here in town hall that would like to ask our health officer any questions? Mr. Wary, will you help facilitate online?
If any members of the public joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion for the Board of Health, please raise your hand now. I see no hands.
Thank you. With that, I move we adjourn until our next scheduled meeting on Wednesday, November 6th.
Second.
Scrape,
Yes.
Daffis,
Yes.
DeLuca,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes.
Ms. Engel.
Yes. Back to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Committee Member Engel. Now we move to public comment. This is for agenda items only. Our first, you have 3 minutes to speak and you give your name and address and to address the Township Committee. Is there anyone in the room who would like to address the Township Committee on any agenda items? The second, any public comment that's not on the agenda is after the consent agenda. So in a little bit. So, okay. Anyone online? Mr. Wary.
Anyone joining us on Zoom would like to speak on agenda items only, please raise your hand now. I see no hands.
Okay, great. Then we'll move on to ordinances on final passage. Ms. Fritzen.
Mayor, item number 9, ordinance on final passage. Ordinance number 3129-24 is an ordinance to amend chapter 271 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Zoning and Development Regulations. This ordinance will amend Article 8, Historic Preservation of Chapter 271 of the Township Code to modify the procedures by which applications for demolition permits for principal structures located in residential zones are reviewed and approved.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. We are forgoing a hearing on this until it goes to the planning board. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so is there any discussion among the Township Committee? No. Okay, so I'd ask for a motion.
Mayor, I move this ordinance to be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the
No,
same.
that can't be.
Oh,
We have
yeah,
to-
no,
we have
because we
to-
didn't have the public hearing.
Yeah.
To
I
table it
just
to the
asked
15th.
Right.
Okay,
That's because there wasn't a planning board meeting between when it was
Right.
introduced.
right.
So-
So I will move that we table this until October 15th.
Second.
Okay.
Ms. Scrape,
Yes.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Engel.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Fritzen, introduction of new ordinances.
Yes, Mayor. Item 10A, ordinance number 3130-24 is an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 123 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Fees and Chapter 305 entitled Food Establishments with respect to food trucks. This ordinance will revise permit procedures with respect to food trucks.
Okay, may we get a motion, Mr. Daffis?
Certainly, Mayor, I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on October 15th.
I'll second. Ms. Fritzen.
Ms. Scrape,
Yes.
Daffis,
Yes.
DeLuca.
Yes.
Ms. Engel.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. We have one more ordinance on introduction.
Yes, Mayor, also an introduction. Ordinance 3131-24 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 257 of the Code of the Township entitled Vehicles and Traffic to implement parking limits on a portion of South Orange Avenue. This ordinance will add a no parking area on a portion of South Orange Avenue.
Okay, can we get a motion, Mr. DeLuca?
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on October 15th, 2024.
I'll second. Roll call.
Ms. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. We have reports. We have all received the September budget memo. Does anyone have anything, questions or comments? Okay, then we'll move to administrative reports. Mr. Weary.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the Health Department. They held an Employee Wellness Day today for all of our staff right here in Town Hall. So they had RWJ Barnabas come in and give a presentation on healthy lifestyles. And then they gave screenings for blood pressure, stroke, pulmonary, diabetes, and also administered flu shots to anybody on
I
our
got
staff who
one.
was interested.
Flu shot.
I already had mine, but thank you
Ah.
for your concern. So that was great. And that was one of the first times, at least recently, that they've held something like this. So thank you again to the Health Department for their hard work on that. And we have quite a few employee appointments on the resolution, on the consent agenda tonight. There are 8 appointments. So welcome to our new staff members. They'll be joining us in the Police Department, Community Development, Public Works, and Health Department. That's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Wary from my colleagues? Nope. Okay, we'll move to our Township Attorney substitute. Ms. Almeida.
Almeida.
Almeida. He got an extra vowel in there. Oh, well.
My husband gave it to me, so. So tonight, we have one item to discuss under the township attorney. We've received a request from a municipal resident who took advantage of the affordable housing mortgage loan. And they have applied for a mortgage, which will be a subrogation of subordinate to our mortgage. So we've been asked by the mortgage company that they are refinancing with to sign a subordination agreement. So at this time, I would like to see if there would be a motion to allow Mr. Wary to sign the subordination agreement.
Sure, I'll move it.
I'll second.
Second,
Right,
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. Anything else from
No, Mayor.
legal? Any questions for our legal department? I have a whole department.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to our township clerk, Ms. Fritzen.
Thanks, Mayor. Just to report that the last day to register to vote for the November election is 2 weeks from tonight. That's Tuesday, October 15th. And the clerk's office will remain open straight through till 9 p.m. And again, all of the voting information is up on the township website. I think it's pretty clear. It covers the early voting options, the locations, how to get an absentee, vote by mail, and our drop box. So we're getting a lot of phone calls. We get a lot of walk-ins with questions, and we're happy to help the voters. My other item is the volunteer appreciation dinner scheduled for Monday, October 21st. Has a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people are coming, and I think it's going to be a great night.
But you have to be a township volunteer.
Correct.
Correct.
Well,
I'm just
and-
motivating
and
people to
your immediate
volunteer.
family. And children
family.
are welcome.
Okay.
So again, you should have been contacted by now by your chair or liaison. And that's Monday, October 21st. And it's a short night. It's a school night. And it goes from 6 till 8, but it's usually over about 7:30.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for township clerk? Okay, then we'll move to reports from elected officials. Mr. DeLuca.
Thank you, Mayor. I have about 4 items here. The first is the South Essex Fire Department is celebrating Fire Prevention Month. And actually, it's next week. This Sunday, we're going to start. October 6th, we're going to have open houses at our 3 firehouses. So people can go in there and bring your kids, sit on the fire trucks, look at all the apparatus. On the week of the 15th through the 18th, we're going to have fire demos at the 2 train stations in Maplewood and South Orange. We're also going to be at each municipal farmers market. And there'll be We'll actually have something that shows you how to use a fire extinguisher. It's a sort of a video type thing. And then on Sunday, October 20th, there's going to be a chili cook-off among the firefighters. So
Cool.
Yeah.
At the,
Firehouse
at the
chili.
South Orange House.
at the, headquarters, right.
When is that?
Sunday, October 20th. I don't have the time yet, so.
Yeah, missed that.
Yeah. Should be a hot one. Be on fire.
Fire.
Yeah. A 3 alarmer, no, okay.
Oh, God.
The Maplewood Library Ideas Festival next Wednesday, October 9th, 7 PM, right here in this room. There'll be an evening with Barry Sonnefeld. He's a film writer and TV director. He wrote a book, Best Possible Place, Worst Possible Time, and he'll be discussing his new book right here.
Excellent.
And also at the library at the Hilton Branch on Tuesday, October 15th at 4 PM, we're going to have Meet the Olympians, and you're going to be able to meet Maplewood's Jackie Dubrovich, who's a fencer, and South Orange's Tierna Davidson, who is a soccer player.
Both
They-
gold medalists.
Both gold medalists, and they will be there. And lastly, believe it or not, we're having our first demolition review on October 28th.
Ooh.
Do tell.
For a house on Collingwood. So, and we have 2 more lined up. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
A few.
All right.
Coming
and
down.
that's all I have.
Any questions for committee member DeLuca? No. Okay, you're off the hook. Committee member Engel.
Thank you. I want to remind residents that the 2024 Old Timey Mapso Family Follies Talent Show is coming back to the Woodlands. Auditions are Wednesday, October 9th from 6 to 8 at the Woodlands. You can just show up. You don't need to sign up in advance. If you can't make auditions but want to take part in this really fun show, video submissions will be accepted from Wednesday, October 9th through Wednesday, October 16th. And the address is mapsofollies@gmail.com. And you can go to the maplewood.artsandculture.org website to find this information. And it's a really fun talent show for all ages. So we encourage residents to come out. I want to thank the Environmental Advisory Committee and the Hilton Neighborhood Association for the cleanup of Lightning Brook, which was seemed very successful. And I was sad to miss it. But I know many of my colleagues were there, and it looks like tons of trash was stopped. So remember to use garbage cans and not litter.
That's a try.
And that is my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Engel? I see no questions. Okay, we'll move on to committee member Daffis.
I have no report, Mayor.
That's
What?
2 times in a row, and don't
times
get
in a
used to it because there's a
I know,
lot coming
I know.
down the pike.
I never get
A
used to.
lot of big ticket items.
It's not like time reserved. If you don't use it,
You
you
don't
lose
use
it.
it. Right.
I do want to take this opportunity.
I'm sorry, your report is finished.
Time's up.
Our taxpayers are watching. Yes. I just want to take this moment to wish our Jewish friends and neighbors happy and peaceful Jewish holidays as the holidays are about to begin with Rosh Hashanah upon us, especially in light of 10/7 right around the corner. So happy and peaceful holidays. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Daffis? No. Deputy Mayor Kripe,
Thank you, Mayor.
welcome back.
Yeah, actually want to say thank you to the township for all the support during my mother's eventual, her decline and her eventual death. It's been hard for all of us, but we know now that she's not in pain. That is what's giving us solace. Report's fairly simple. Recreation, the travel basketball team tryout registration is open. It's for boys and girls, grades 3 through 8 in Maplewood and South Orange. So practice begins on October the 20th. So please sign up quickly. And the advice for folks that are looking to do things via Rec Desk is to get your registrations and your logins and test them early, because once these registrations open, a lot of folks flood the site. And if you're behind the ball, you might miss out and end up on a waiting list. So please test early and often. That also includes recreational basketball. There's less commitment, but your chance to learn the fundamentals, learn how to play the game, and registration is already open for that, and that program begins in December. But we're not leaving out the adults. For the adults that are 30 and older who want to keep fit or relive their glory days, you can sign up for adult open gym basketball. Registration opens this Sunday, the 6th.
No.
So sign up. Ski club registration is opening on October the 8th at 10 a.m. Again, that's another hot ticket. So folks want to register on Rec Desk in advance. But as a part of the ski club, it's open for Maplewood and South Orange students in grades 6 through 12, and it runs 5 Fridays beginning in January. But it doesn't happen without the support of chaperones. So we need ski club chaperones as well. You get a season pass and you get to have a lot of fun skiing at Mountain Creek with the other young people in the community. And who knows, you might be able to show them a thing or two. Our senior social is on the 15th at 10:30 in the morning, and we're hoping that our seniors ages 55 and older will come out for community conversation, brainstorming, and socializing. And this is the last call, 10:10 at 11 a.m. to go see Jersey Boys at the Paper Mill Playhouse. So it's the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It's kind of cool. I haven't seen it yet, so I might sneak on that bus myself.
Good show. Good show.
And finally, get your costumes ready for the annual senior Halloween party on October 30th from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Senior Center. Fun games, lunch, and a costume contest will make it for a beautiful afternoon. And yes, I did not write that. I did not write that. I did not write that.
Do I have to hit my go?
And that is my report.
Great report.
Ghostly report.
Goes, okay, we're gonna have to
Died on that.
get his mic and his horn away from him. Any
Seriously.
questions for Deputy Mayor Craig? No, seeing none. I have just a couple things. We had a recognition of our Maplewood Olympian for fencing that Mr. DeLuca just mentioned. This was, we raised the Olympic flag. We had a proclamation for Jackie Dubrovich. I can only do it when I'm not reading it out loud. And we also did a proclamation honoring New Jersey Fencing Alliance for their success over all these years in turning out some high-class athletes and more than one Olympian. So then we have a senior freeze and anchor program education session is being scheduled for later this month. The date hasn't been determined. We're having trouble getting Assemblywoman Hall's calendar in sync with our own. So that should be later this month. So keep an eye out for a date for that with Assemblywoman Garnett Hall. We have just Mayor Romano of our Milburn mayor next door. She has asked fellow mayors throughout the immediate area to just kind of remind their communities of pedestrian safety and vehicular safety, especially now that school's open, not only to drive carefully and be alert, and especially now that it's starting to get dark earlier, to look out for commuters as well as they walk to and from the train station. And just to look up pedestrians, look up from your phones when you're crossing the street. Just because it's a crosswalk doesn't mean you can just walk into it. Let's eye contact between pedestrians and drivers would be really helpful. So we want everybody to stay safe. So that's all I have, except for a happy new year to our Jewish friends and family. And that starts tomorrow at sundown, I believe, right? Yes. So that's all I have. Any questions for me? Nope. Great. Okay. So now we have no discussion items and we'll move to this consent agenda. Could I get a motion?
I move the consent agenda.
Second?
Right,
Yes.
Daffis.
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca.
Yes.
Sengel.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. This brings us to our second public comment session on any subject matter. Is there anyone in? You can come up to the microphone. Please introduce yourself and where you live, and then also you have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Evening. My name is Elise Vasquez, and I live at 15 Garthwaite Terrace. And I have something to read on behalf of the residents of Garthwaite Terrace.
Okay.
We, the residents of Garthwaite Terrace in Maplewood, New Jersey, individually and collectively hereby request that the Maplewood Township Committee include Garthwaite Terrace on the list of streets to be repaired, fully repaved in 2025. We have children of all ages, the elderly, and persons with disabilities residing on our street, and all are experiencing and or have experienced harms, at times quite serious, directly caused by the township's failure to repave our road for more than 20 years. The last time the road was repaved from top to bottom was in the summer of 2003. Due to the poor condition of the road, we have experienced the following: injuries to children when walking, running, biking, and playing due to potholes, deep ruts, missing chunks of asphalt near the curbs, and loose pieces of asphalt in the street. The injuries have included cuts, scrapes, and bruises to knees, elbows, and faces, sprained ankles, twisted knees, and other similar injuries to adults. Inability of persons with physical mobility issues and the elderly to go for walks without serious risk of falling due to the uneven and unsafe road surface. Significant pooling of water in the summer, creating fertile breeding ground for mosquitoes and other insects, and in the winter, causing sizable patches of ice in front of our walkways and driveways, putting residents and guests at risk. Car tire and rim damage caused by potholes, especially when driving at night because they cannot be seen, as well as the premature wearing out of shock absorbers and struts. As a dead-end street, we have no sidewalks. People are invited and expected to walk, play, run, and ride bicycles, etc., in the street. Requests by individual residents for the township to repave over the years have been met with the same refrain: your street is just a small dead end, and as a result, gets put to the bottom of the list. If the size of the street determines access to township services, then our tax bracket should be significantly lower than it is for other residents, but clearly that is not the case. The township has permitted hazardous street conditions on Garthwaite Terrace to persist for far too long. We are asking you, the committee members, to take our request seriously, not only because this is a liability issue for the township of Maplewood, but also because it is a quality of life issue for all Garthwaite Terrace residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know I was back in March, someone got in touch with me via email about Garthwaite, and I alerted our engineer who said they would do some limited overlay paving this year, and hopefully that was done. Do you know if that was done? It hasn't last? Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Wary, will you alert Mr. Kittner tomorrow to the issue and have engineering go take a look? Because I think it'll be, if they can fix what they can fix now, and then it'll be on for possibly for the road program in next year. If you have a question, you can come up.
I don't have a question. I'm actually here with members of our block because.
Could you give your name and?
Diana Adamson Aries, number 13 Garthwaite Terrace.
Okay.
I've gone to Public Works. I've come to Town Hall. I've personally been involved with all of these people in trying to get the work done. Patchwork was done. It doesn't help.
Okay.
There's still extreme damage on the street and everything. And we have copies of this statement that we're happy to share with the.
Sure, you can leave that with us.
But it really, I personally had just keep getting bumped.
Mhm.
This, Public Works, they'd look at it, they came, they did some patchwork. You know what? We're grateful for what they did, but it doesn't fix the street.
Understood. And I'm sure it'll be on Mr. Kittner's list for the road program next year. And then, of course, it'll be normal budget discussions. That's what he said in his email, that it should be on his list. But of course, it's budgetary. But
Thank
we
you.
now, yes, please. Thank you for letting us know and for bringing it to our attention.
I'm going to take a look tomorrow.
Mr. DeLuca, you want to add that?
Appreciate your advocacy.
Yeah, so we have watch the wires. We have an engineering public works meeting next Wednesday morning, and we'll put this on the agenda just to get an update from Mr. Kittner as to what their plans are, what they've done and what their plans are. Again, what the mayor said, we have, every year we do our budget, our capital budget, and we look at how many streets we can do, how many linear feet of streets we can pave. It only comes out to about 8 streets to 10 streets a year. So we'll certainly make sure that Mr. Kittner is aware of the situation there as we go into the budget year for 2025.
Yeah, and that's an open meeting if at 8 a.m. next Wednesday, what's the date? 9th, 10th?
The 9th.
9th.
On Zoom, you can log into
On
Zoom
Zoom,
and do
yeah.
it from home.
If you give me, or if you give the clerk someone's email, I'll make sure that I email you the agenda for that meeting if you want to come to that meeting and hear what Mr. Kittner has to say.
And Mr. DeLuca schedules public comment at that meeting in the beginning. So,
No, it's a Zoom meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just need one person's email and then we can go from there.
it's also on our website.
No, give it to, I don't want you to do it publicly. You can just give it to the clerk. Otherwise, people who, the thousands of people that watch it,
Spam.
all 3 people.
Is there anyone else from the public who would like to address the Township Committee here in Town Hall? Seeing none, Mr. Wary, is there anyone on Zoom?
If any members of the public joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion, please raise your hand now. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. With that, Mr. DeLuca, would you motion?
Move we adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Ms. Fritzen, could you call a roll?
Right,
Yes.
Stathis.
Yes.
Luca,
Yes.
Sengel.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you all.